It's story time.
Hello and welcome to the Storytime podcast. And this week I have with me Mary Claire.
Hi.
How are you? MC loves to laugh.
I do. I like a good laugh.
Do you want to tell people where to find you? Introduce yourself and tell them where to find you online.
My name's Mary Claire. I do YouTube videos and Facebook videos, and you can find me at MC Loves to Laugh, spelled like a Bebo Stunner, LUVS, to laugh on both.
I actually really want, I was thinking about the other day, I want to get someone on to talk about Bebo, because like there's so many Americans that listen to this that would have no idea what Bebo was.
Oh, Bebo.
And it was like the shit.
It was, but it was tough because like I grew up in the country and I had no reception to get online, and I don't know if anyone here knows the pain of the dial-up internet. And you'd have to, first of all, you have to warn mum not to make any phone calls for 20 minutes, and then you'd have to connect the thing into your computer, and then everything would stop, and then you'd hear that screeching noise, and then you'd take about 10 minutes to load the page. Then you'd have your mum screaming at me saying, oh, you know, you're wasting how much money on the bill because we don't have the wonders of broadband now. And then eventually you get on, you'd see that nobody gave you love, and then you just leave.
So giving love on Bebo was where you could you'd 3 hearts a day to leave on people's channels in a comment kind of thing, and you could only give it to 3 people. So yeah, if you got love, it was a big deal. And then I think people were like, oh my god, children are giving love to each other on the internet. Everyone needs to chill out. But I used to have a camera, and I would get the photos printed in this shop, and then I would bring them home and scan them in, and then I would have to crop them really shittily in whatever. I obviously didn't have Photoshop, so it was Windows Photo Viewer or whatever, and then I would upload them set them to upload on Bebo. But because we had dial-up, I would have to be left overnight.
Oh god.
So it would take about 8 to 18 hours. I think the longest was ever it was something like 18 hours. My mother was losing it because she couldn't use the internet. But because I kind of tried to do it without her noticing, I was like, oh, I'm working on the computer, ma'am. Yeah, you just can't use it. So yeah, she used to kill me because it used to take hours. But that is the perfect accidental segue into what we're going to talk about today, which is country living and living in the country. I grew up in Mayo, which is the west of Ireland, and you grew up in?
In Laois, in the Midlands.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a different experience.
I think of myself back then. I think I was a lot more innocent, but I don't think I realised it until I was older. Compared to my city slicker friends, living in the town. But I don't know, surrounded by animals all the time. We had cows and sheep and stuff, and that was just the norm.
Yeah, you're the proper country now. I grew up in a housing estate, so people were like, oh my god, you're such a townie. Even though our whole village only had whatever, I think the whole diocese has 1,000 people in it, not even.
Still a townie though,
yeah, I'm townie because I didn't grow up on an actual farm range.
But yeah, no, it was grand. If there's 4 of us, I have 3 siblings, and it was great crack. Standard summer would be, rolling down the silage pit, playing with, we used to have our neighbour kept sheep. We didn't really keep sheep, but one year anyway, there was one of the flock. He'd the mother just what's the word? Just disowned its child or something. He gave us the lamb, and we were like, oh my god, we have a lamb, this is class. And we used to bottle feed the lamb every day, and then the next year he gave us 4 lambs because we were fighting over who owned the lamb because there was 4 of us. So the next year we had 4 baby lambs, and we used to feed it and stuff after school. I had my one, and I called it Colleen, which means girl in Irish. I was very, very creative as a kid. And I used to love her. And then one day Colleen went away, and I got €80.
€80?
80 euro.
Oh, that's actually not too bad.
But I kind of knew where she was going, and I knew.
And we're not devastated.
No, because she tastes great on Sunday.
Oh my god. Mary Claire, definitely not a vegetarian.
No, I'm not, sorry. It was I don't know, because we kind of always, we had animals and we had.
But you knew not to get too attached.
We knew not to get too attached. Yeah. But my granny used to live with us when I was very young, and she used to keep chickens, and my job was to collect the eggs and stuff, and I used to just I loved chickens. Like, I loved chickens so much. They were my best friends. I just loved them. And I used to carry them all over the place. I used to bring them under my arm. And I just loved them. And now I think back on it, it was really unhealthy. I used to have conversations with the chickens. I used to be like, well, how are you today, Cluckers?
I'm sure, like, towny kids probably had imaginary friends. So the same, really.
True, but, I mean, it was poultry, wasn't it? Oh, that's my Siri. He knows to respond to "Hey chicken."
Oh. I was like, what is that?
Oh, gee.
What did you say?
I don't know, I hate chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
That's a series, like, yes.
I mean, that's the thing with the accent as well. Like, I mean, I used to have a very thick accent, but I don't have as thick now, I think, because I've learned, like, when I first moved up to Dublin, like, I used to talk so fast, and I had to subconsciously, like, be like, okay,
same,
slow down.
Everyone would be like, I can't understand you, can you say that again slower? So then it just seeps into your brain that you have to talk slower in Dublin.
Like, I think, I don't know anyway, but like, I think Mayo anyway in the West and I think the Midlands don't have very strong accents. Like, you'd have like Kerry and stuff, but I think it's like you talk very fast.
Yeah, well, my friends now would have a stronger accent than me just because I spent my summers with my dad in Kildare, so my accent was quite diluted, and the time in particular now I've spent in Dublin has diluted it further, but you're right, it isn't as strong as like Cork or Limerick, but it is pretty strong when we're talking real fast. It's still real hard for Dublin people to understand when we're talking real fast.
When I get drunk, when I get excited, or I'm back home, it just goes, leash by 10. Like, I'm just like MC loves to leash. Like, it just goes. It's just. But no, and again, but like being in Dublin, you just had to. Because I remember when I was a first year in college, nobody could understand me. Like, I just would talk a mile a minute. Even now, I'm probably talking pretty fast, but I don't know, it's one of those, like, Dublin people don't know the pain of trying to adapt.
Yeah.
I don't see a Dublin person trying to be like, how are the lads? Well, it's like
big bag of cans. Yeah, you don't. They're like, oh, hello, I'm from Dublin and I'm in the country now. I'm not changing my voice at all. Whereas we come up and we're like, okay, we're making a concentrated effort to enunciate and slow down our talk.
Big bag of spuds.
Oh God, yeah, it was good fun. So I was from a village. You obviously grew up on a farm. Was your farm like away from?
No, it was close enough to the town. Like, it was, you could actually I lived really near a golf course. Like, our farm was like right beside the golf course, and I think I've golfed once in my life.
Yeah.
Like, we never.
When it's right beside you,
we never do. But no, we would be just outside the town, so wouldn't be. But it wouldn't be too far away. But I was far enough that I could feel like, I'm not a townie. I can walk to Super Valley if needs be, but I don't have to because I can get milk from the cow. Not that I would drink it straight from the
I was about to say, did you ever do that?
Jesus, no. I did milk a couple of times with my dad when I was a kid. Like, I did, like, I remember, it was so funny. Like, we were in the milking parlour and we used to have this big, massive black tomcat that used to come around. We don't know where it came from. We had it for years. And he just wandered into the milking parlour and Daddy just got one of the cow's udders and squirted at the cat. He was delighted. Started licking the milk off the ground. I should really stop doing this.
Yeah.
It's this motion.
Yeah.
Not any better, is it? No.
It's slightly better. I mean, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God. Did you ever have any dogs?
We did. We're very creative. Our first dog's name was Lassie.
Okay.
Then we got Lucy. And that just was a happy coincidence, 2 L's. And the next dog...
I like those two together, actually.
But then we had to keep the L thing going, so the next dog was Lily. And then we had Lassie, Lucy and Lily. And then Lassie died. She was like 17, it was, But then we got Lolly. So
she says very close together.
Lassie, Lucy, Lolly... No, Lassie, Lucy, Lily, Lolly. And then we got Mac.
You just fucked it out the window there.
Well, my mother came up with this name, which I think is hilarious. So Fitzpatrick in Irish, the male version is Nicola Fodrick. Or Macula Fodrick. For me, it's Nicola Fodrick. So Macula Fodrick, Mac. They call the dog Mac. So he's nearly named because of my surname, which is very, very original. But we don't have all these dogs now. But we had 2 very old dogs when I was growing up, and then we have Lolly, we have Mac, and we have a new pup. Called Sue. My dad wanted to call her Sue because we were literally in the kitchen.
If it was a boy, it'd be even better.
Yeah, it would have been very.
Boy named Sue. Get it? Oh, I'm so old. My mum really liked Johnny. Was it Johnny Cash? And he had a song called The Boy Named Sue.
Oh, okay.
My mum was real into Johnny Cash.
We, I don't know that song, Claire. I'm really sorry.
It's alright. We used to drive, you see, because my dad lived in Kildare and we lived in Mayo, so when I would come up, it'd be a 4 hour, or whatever, 3.5, pretty much 4, the way my mum drove, 4 hour drive up to kind of, for me to go to him for the summer or whatever, so the whole way it'd be Johnny Cash on CD, or tape was first.
Tape, oh yeah.
And then CD when we got a fancy car. But yeah, it was tape, so it would just be like, you'd play it, rewind it, play it. Oh my god. Actually, another one she used to listen to was A Woman's Heart. Did your mother ever listen to that one?
No, because all we ever had at home was Midlands 103, which would play country western shite all the time, and it would never stop.
That's not even the best country. Like, there's so many country stations that was just not a good one.
No.
Like, Midlands radio is just not good.
No, they would listen to it all the time, and you'd have these songs would be like, my uncle went to the shop and he bought a packet of biscuits, and my uncle nearly ate them, and we all went to the dance. Like, that was it all the time. It never stopped. And my dad had we had a really old tractor that didn't have a radio. When we got our new tractor, and then my dad got a radio on the tractor, Nelly played again all the time. So my dad used to fill up water for one of the further fields at the weekend, and I was always like sit on the tractor. We were actually really unsafe, so I just kind of hang at the door, and then the songs we playing, head out the window, a big water truck in the background, going up the field, waving to all the neighbours. Like, it was just, yeah, it was really unsafe. It was class. It was great crack.
That's an incredibly hard experience to explain to a Dublin person, or to like a city person, or someone who hasn't experienced it. Yeah. Because in our town we had this one lad that he was well known for driving his tractor through the town with the songs blaring out. So he had the open back tractor, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, it wasn't like it was encompassed. He wasn't. Like, everyone could hear it. And the particular song he would blast a lot of the time was, do you remember that song? I'm the DEVIL, the devil. And it was like a
That's
dance.
such a random song to play on.
I know. And I was like blasting out of the on the DEVIL, the devil. And he goes through the town, and everyone would hear from miles away, and we'd know it was him. And he was just like this fixture. This, like, I would go as far as to say town celebrity, be like, oh, there he is with his tractor again. And it was just that particular song he just seemed to really enjoy. And it was a thing where we'd be like, oh, we really want to lift on that tractor. We just wanted to be bopping. So I remember one time there was 3 of us like hanging out the back of the tractor, just being like, DEVIL. And when I explain that to Dublin people, they just look at me like I'm 10 heads.
See, this is...
Or that they think I'm making it up.
But like, this is the townie tractor versus our tractor, because we used to have Richie Kavanagh singing in fuck the go, fuck the tree, fuck my dad's tractor, and I'm just swinging out the window, and I don't know fuck it at all.
I do like a bit of Richie Kavanagh.
He's a good lad. He's got a good what's it called, overalls. I still love them overalls when I was younger. They were class.
Have you ever been to ploughing championships?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Oh,
big up.
The ploughing championships, for anyone who doesn't know, is literally, I believe I explained this in some video before for some reason, but it's basically ploughing competitions, and people from all over the world compete to be ploughing champion.
But very few people actually watch the ploughing.
Yeah, there's loads of other shit going on, and there's sheepdog trials, which I thought were really cool. There's welly throwing, like a fun welly throwing competition, which I was terrible at. I really enjoyed the ploughing championships.
They're great, but like when I was younger, it was in Ballacalla in Laois, which is like very near us, for 2 years in a row, and then in recent years it's moved to Rathneska, which would be further in Laois. But like, it was great because like it was a big buzz around the town. But like we were very nearby, and I remember like we were going down, and we went in, and like everybody we knew was there, because we used to have this thing in home called the Osprey Show, which is like
the Osprey Show.
The Osprey Show. So the diocese I lived in was Osprey.
Okay.
And we used to have the show, and it was like a very mini version of the ploughing, but we didn't have.
So there'd be tractors and this sort of
But actually, I was, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. So when I was 3. My mother entered me into Little Miss Osprey.
Oh my god, no way.
I was in a beauty pageant, technically, right? So, but
pageant queen.
But you had to be 4 to enter it. But my mother really wanted me.
You did a Nadine Goyle on it.
Yeah. So my mother had me in this lovely dress. It was like, there was like cherries on it, and it was like navy and yellow. And she was like, I have to enter in this because she's going to be too big for next year.
Like waving a fake passport.
So my sister, I think Anne was, what age was Anne? She was 12 at the time, and Mum was like, don't know, if anybody asks, Mary Claire's 4, okay? Grand. So we went in, Little Miss Osprey, and I won Little Miss Osprey. I won a little locket, and I got really annoyed because I remember I turned to the judges, and I was only 3, but I remember it so vividly. I remember being on stage, not having a clue why I was there, and I turned to the judge because all the runners up got little dolls. I was like, where's my doll? He's like, you get a special necklace. I was like, I don't want it.
I want the doll. Yeah.
But our neighbour came over and like was saying to Mum, oh, was that great? Mary Claire won, whatever. And I think she had a kid in it as well. And Anne turned around, the big mouth that she had, she's like, sure, Mary Claire's only 3. And I remember my mother said that she literally went and wanted to kill my sister because this was supposed to be the big conspiracy, the big secret, and yeah, we got away with it. It's fine.
Oh, you did get away with it? Yeah. They didn't make you give up your prize. No, but give that locket back.
The neighbour apparently was not very impressed by the whole ordeal.
Yeah, no. cheated out of her.
Little Miss Osprey 1997. Little Miss Osprey 1997. And my brother actually won the bunny baby competition when he was a baby.
Oh, very good.
So they used to have this
very good looking family.
But he was no, but like I think he was like a really chubby cheeks. But they had this thing where they were in the crowd, and they were like, okay, who was a baby? Lift him up. You should lift up your baby. And I was like, which one is the bunniest? You're the winner. That was it. The most country show you'd ever have. Like, literally just lift up your babies and then that one would win. But yeah, it was gas. But when we had the ploughing championships, I remember thinking, this is like a bigger version of the Otter show. This is class. And it was more cows and more tractors and more people. I thought it was very impressive. And then it went away and I went to Westmeath and we were very bitter for many years.
Never got over
it. Did you find like country schools, any differences? But like obviously we don't know the difference, but like being in school in the country.
Yeah, so I guess the way I think it might be different is like, first of all, there were 2 buses from my town to the school and that was it. Missed it, you were fucked. And so, like, they were school buses, do you know what I mean? Because it was miles away. And so that, I feel like that was some of the best times in school. My best memories I have are actually on the bus to and from school.
I never got the bus.
Then our school was in the middle of nowhere, so just surrounded by fields on all sides, so it's not like anyone could mitch or do anything. So once you got to school, that's it. Like, you're not going to walk like 10 miles to the nearest town. And there was sheep all around as well, so there was sometimes great excitement when a sheep might break into the school or whatever, and into the grounds.
He was on the lamb. The sheep was on the lamb.
On the lamb.
Do you ever hear that phrase?
No, what does that mean?
He's undercover. He's like escaping. It's like a prison term. Like someone's on the lamb.
Oh, it's very clever. Too clever for me. I didn't get it from Tony.
That's it, of course. Sorry, that was terrible.
Yeah, but I did really like that as well. And when I was in primary school, we had a band, and I remember we used to have to go into this, our Patrick's Day march in the town would just be like the school band followed by a couple of tractors. And that was like pretty much it.
We had a flare in the square. The flare in the square, yeah, same thing, just tractors, and then it was like they made a makeshift stage out of a tractor trailer.
So we had that, yeah.
It was fun. Good. But I have a really vivid memory. I was in senior infants. I would have been about 5 or 6, and it was the millennium. The millennium was coming. I remember the priest. The priest was always in. I know what the priest was doing.
Yeah, priest was always in my school as well. Jesus Christ.
Always in, talking about this, Jesus this, and Mary that. I actually remember this as well. So I remember I can't remember the context of this, but I remember I was in 4th class. I remember the teacher went, it's Jesus, Mary and Joseph or something. I went, no miss, it's Mary Claire. Jesus, Mary Claire. Sorry, bad, that was a different thing. But when I was in senior infants, the priest came in and he was talking about the new millennium, and everyone was like, because I didn't really understand at the time, because I was too young for Y2K, so I was kind of lucky in that respect. I didn't know the word. Y2K, everyone thought.
No, I do. I lived through. I was old enough to remember what year were you born? What did you?
I'm 23, so I was 94.
Oh my God, kill me! I'm so old.
But I was too young for Y2K. I didn't know anything.
Oh, I wasn't.
Sorry.
No, so keep going. Don't mind my existential crisis, please.
You look much younger than I do. I look like I'm 40 and I have 2 kids. Because of the pain of being so tall as well. Everybody thinks you're so much older. I haven't been ID'd since I was 15. Anyway. Sorry, what am I saying? The millennium, the priest came in, what's going to happen for the new millennium? Everyone was like, oh, you know, what the change is going to be. And I remember at the time, Sinead O'Connor being a priest, and she was all over the Late Late Show.
Oh yes, I remember this.
And I remember I threw my hand up and I said, Father, there's going to be women priests. And I remember this so clearly. He looked at my teacher and the both of them just went, women priests, and laughed. I remember at 5 years of age thinking to myself, why are they laughing? Why is that funny? And that's why I always remember that. I always remember that about my senior infant's year. I'm like, why are women priests funny? If Sinead O'Connor can do it, why can't I do it? I'm going to shave my head, Father.
Yeah, I remember there was something weird in my school as well. Now I was a bit older at the time, but I remember there was some snotty comment made by a priest about Sinead O'Connor, and I remember at the same time being like, what's wrong? And it was about her being a women priest. They were obviously all pissed off about it.
Oh yeah,
because they just like, we both had the same experience where a priest made a snotty comment about it. But it was like, I remember at the time being the same. I was like, what's wrong with women being priests? Because I think maybe it was I said something about it, about how, Sinead O'Connor's a woman priest, and he was like, that's not a real priest, doesn't count. And I was like, why? And yeah,
I kept saying to my teacher for weeks and weeks after, I'm going to be a priest when I grow up, miss. I kept saying it. So I didn't know the difference. I didn't know what was wrong with saying it. I just kept saying it. And eventually she kind of started laughing at first, and then she just kind of like, stop.
Yeah.
Be a nun. Be a nun and stop. Oh god.
Oh yeah, I wonder, I don't know because I didn't grow up in Dublin, but I would imagine that the religion thing was way bigger in the country. It was huge, and especially my primary school was huge, and you used to have to go to mass and shit in the hall.
Well, I went to boarding school actually.
No way.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it didn't work clearly.
All girls or?
All girls, and we had to go to mass once a week as well, and it was great. I remember
passing that. My mother used to force me to go to mass as well.
I remember there was one girl, and she came in 5th year, and she said she was an atheist, and I was like, I remember looking at her and like, do you know what she's but she would still make go to mass, but as her form of protest, she'd just sit there and not do the kneeling and the standing and anything.
That's
like
what
that.
I do now in church.
And then the lady over at boarding school then pulled her aside and said, you know, if you're not going to say the prayers, you still have to stand and you still have to kneel and do all the other things. So she used to stand and kneel, but just not say any of the prayers. But I'm like, there you go, fourth Catholicism. That's the country, isn't it?
Yeah, that sums us right up there. Yeah, there was a girl in my school that was a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I remember people used to be, because again, it was just so out of your comfort zone. You hadn't at that point really met anyone that wasn't either Catholic or Protestant. So I remember it being a big deal, and people were like, oh my god, what's a Jehovah's Witness? And there were jokes made about, they're going to try and convert you and stuff. And it's not. She was just a perfectly normal person.
That was the thing. We used to have pantomimes in the local parish and stuff, and we had a Protestant primary school and a Catholic primary school.
Which, when you think about it, is totally fucked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We had the same thing, segregation. What the fuck?
I met people I'd never met before, but I remember we were in a group practicing some chorus number, and I remember somebody went up to this girl, and I can't remember what her name was, but she was really nice, and they're like, do you not believe in Mary? She was a virgin, you know. I remember this so clearly. Someone went up to her, she's like, what? Yeah, my daddy said the Protestants don't believe Mary's a virgin. And I'm like, think about it, it's mental.
Yeah, it's actually mental. Catholics do believe a virgin had a birth. This is let's not get into that. I could do a whole other podcast on that, but it's just mental.
But I mean, besides religion, there were other things to do.
Wasn't much. We used to smoke outside the chipper. That's all I did. We'd come home, get changed, go back down to stand outside Chipper and smoke.
See, I kind of missed out on that because I went to a boarding school, so I kind of went away from my town a bit.
Oh yeah, but did you not hang out at the gable at your boarding school and smoke? No, because we did that at school as well.
No, but the same girl actually.
All we did was smoke.
The same girl who was an atheist.
Cigarettes.
She used to smoke as well, and I used to look up to this girl and be like, she's so cool, and
she's an atheist that smokes, and she French as well. That's just
her name was Roz actually, so it was very Christian. But she I remember one day I went up with her, and I was beside the topaz across from the school, and I was like, we're going to get caught, someone's going to see us, because I was just standing with her while she smoked, and she asked me, do you want some? I was like, no. I don't want any. I just wanted to stand there in her presence while she smoked because I wanted to feel cool. And eventually we didn't get caught. We walked back down to school and it was fine. But the most rebellious thing I remember I did in school, was in boarding school, is I always said that we were going to do this. We wanted to order pizza through the gates of the boarding school and try not get caught. We did it. And I was like the patsy. I had to go out and pretend, because our lady was over the boarding school, she like loved maths and she used to love telling people. So I was like, Miss, can you help me with my maths homework? I'm really stuck on this, equation. So they would order the pizza, I would keep her distracted in another room. They'd get it through the window of our dorm, because we were in the downstairs dorm, and we got the guy from Supermax, Pappy John, to come in around the gate, and he came through the window, and then we came back, and then we would scoff it into us, spray deodorant everywhere, and then she came in afterwards, she's like, girls, I think you should stop using those aerosols, they're not great for the environment. Most people did cool rebellious things. I ordered
amazing.
pizza, and that was it. That was the extent of my childhood rebellion, I guess you could say.
God, Jesus. And if that's the stuff we got up to when you only had Supermax and Papa John's, like, imagine, I'd say their kids getting Deliveroo's now.
Yeah, probably. Get a gourmet meal. Oh wait, no, once I pretended my calculator broke so I could go up to town. So he could go to the supply shop and get, because you weren't allowed yet. You literally were in like it was a religious run convent boarding school, so we were like you couldn't really do anything or go anywhere. But one time, like, I was a prefect at the time and I was good, and I went up and I left and I hung out with my friends for like a half an hour, and then I went back and I was like, that was class, I'm so cool.
Did you have junior discos in Laois?
Yeah, we did. Oh my god, yeah. I was a freak when I was younger.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I was really, and actually I'm talking about it now, but I was really religious. And everyone just called me the nun. Yes, swear to God, people just called me Sister Mary Claire. I was really, really religious. I was really weird. Well, I am really weird still, but like at the time I was just really religious, and I kept saying, I was like, I'm never going to kiss a boy until I'm 16 or 18 or anything.
Why 16?
That was my cutoff age. That was the age I'm like, you know what, I feel mature enough that I can kiss the person. And I was so weird, and I was in the Young Scientist when I was in second year, and we had a disco at the Young Scientist. Oh my God, this is actually so embarrassing. Oh my God.
No, you started it now, so you have to tell us.
I had never been to a disco before. I was about 14 and I had no idea what the crack was with discos or anything like that. And my parents weren't exactly strict. It's just I never wanted to go to these things. I wanted to just pray, I guess. I don't know. And we were at this, and there was a group of us there, and I didn't really know what the crack was. So I went and sat on these tables and chairs that were beside it was in the RDS, it was a big room, and then two of the girls come over like, Mary Claire, why aren't you coming to dance? What are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just waiting for a boy to ask me. I said this at 14, like I was in a fucking dinner dance in the 50s. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? Then I went on to the dance floor, and eventually this lad tapped me on the shoulder and started going like this with his friend. And I thought he wanted to dance, and again I leaned in to dance, and he just looked at me like, what the hell, and I ran away, and it was the most embarrassing thing of my life. And there was two of my friends standing there. I genuinely didn't realise that he wanted to shift me. I thought he wanted to dance. I stood there like a fool waiting for him to dance with me. It was horrible. I was so innocent. I was such an idiot. And then when I went to my first proper disco in the local town hall, I had leggings on under my skirt. And I remember I saw when we went in a few girls like rolling their leggings up, because they wanted theirs just to look like they're wearing skirts. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if their mothers only seen them now.
Oh my God.
But it was fine. Don't worry, Claire. I came to 15 and I said to myself, you know what? I'm ready. I'm going to kiss a boy. And I kissed a boy. And it all went downhill from there. Yeah.
I was pointing out, and the Blaheen de Burka was on this podcast previously, sharing stories of living and growing up in Dublin.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I can't relate to that, but I told her a few stories of growing up in the country, and one of the things I pointed out was at those junior discos, they were chaperoned by our own parents. So like, the parents of my friends would be chaperoning the disco, and would still get up to outrageous shit.
Yeah.
And the parents would be just like, they wouldn't know where to look. Like, oh God.
Well, I felt like I was an absolute fool. Like, most of my friends were like off drinking beforehand, and I never did. I had my first drink when I was like 17 and a half. I never drank.
You kept your pledge almost.
Yeah.
Almost. The pioneer, they forced you to do the pioneer pledge as well. Oh yeah. They don't tell you why or like what you get out of it. It's just like, say this pledge and like wear this pin. You're like, okay. And I didn't have any intention of keeping it.
But I remember someone in primary school said before, well, miss, if we do the pledge, can we not drink the wine and mass? And the teacher was like, that's not wine, that's Jesus' blood. So I'm like, alright, there's your loophole, church. Sort that one out, you know.
Yeah, I remember I complained to my mother once and I was like, it's not fair. And she's like, what's not fair? And I was like, adults get to eat and drink at mass and we don't. I'm starving. I want some drink. Why don't I get any drink? And she's like, you can't because it's wine. And I was like, I thought it was Jesus' blood though.
Yeah. I love that though. It's such like they can't answer you. You're like, well, it's not. It tastes like wine.
There's no alcohol and it was Jesus' blood though. Okay.
It reminds me of Family Guy joke. It was like, Jesus must be wasted all the time if his blood is made of wine. Gas.
Do you have any other growing up in the country stories? Oh, this is bringing me back
Actually,
to see us out.
I have one, and this is. Do you remember the Bill Clinton scandal?
I mean, yes, like not like very well. I vaguely remember with the details of it. Yes,
I was very young at the time, but I was on the TV a lot because Mum was watching it a lot. You know, the infamous line, you know, I had a not have sex relation.
Yeah.
I saw it playing, and I think obviously I must have picked it up on it. And I remember.
Oh no! Oh God! I don't know. I think I know where this is going now.
My sister had a camogie match, and there was. They had a team meeting or something afterwards, and we went into the hall, and I actually don't remember this. My sister told me the story, but apparently they went in afterwards and they were like, I think it was some kind of mini cup or something, and I was kind of standing there, and me being a little, you know, wanting all the attention, I think I stood up on top of the table. I think it was only 3 or 4, and I literally shouted at the top of my lungs, I do not have sexual relations with that woman, and everybody just stopped, and it's like nobody knew what to say. My mother thought this was the most hilarious thing in the world. So the next week she went into the chemist to collect something, and she went because she went to the pharmacist, and Mary's like, Mary Claire, you know, what does Bill Clinton say? And then she got me to say it again for him. She thought it was the funniest thing in the world because, you know, being from the country, you had the one thing on loop all the time because it was the most enthralling thing that had happened in a long time, and that was it. And I said that over and over again apparently when I was about 3 or 4. Sometimes
things stick with you. I remember I was in school, and when I heard about 9/11 first.
Yeah.
And I just remember not really understanding like the scale of it or whatever, but like I got that it was a tragedy, but I didn't quite get the scale of it.
Yeah.
Because it was being explained to us by a teacher as well. So like I think I saw a paper later or whatever, and I remember we had an assembly where I think the priest came in and we were doing like a service and prayers for the people affected in 9/11 or whatever, but the priest got into this big long story describing what had happened, and again, total like not really understanding the scale of it. Like I'd never seen a skyscraper. I didn't actually know what a skyscraper was. So like you can say high-rise building or skyscraper, but if you don't know what it is, you've no concept of how high that is. It could be as
big as the church, like.
It could be. Oh my God, has it got 4 stories? Like, do you know what I mean? So he got into this big long story, like really sort of getting into the details, and at one point he was like, he mentioned how they were jumping out the windows and falling or whatever, jumping out the windows to get out of the building, and I was enthralled in the story. Like I felt like, as far from what I remember, I was kind of in the middle of the group of students. I don't remember if that's true. You know the way sometimes you might dramatise things in your mind, and I was like enthralled by his story, so I'm like staring at him and he's like telling the story, and without thinking I'm like so into the story that when he says this I go and everyone looks at me, and I was like, did they die? And I honestly I didn't live it down. People used to shout did they die at me on the street for years. It's like, because the priest goes, of course they did. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, God.
And like, I didn't understand how high it had been. I didn't get that. That was totally, I was like, thought they jumped out maybe of a 3rd story or 4th story window. Like, I didn't understand the concept of skyscrapers. And yeah, that was one thing that followed me up for years. People used to roar that at me. It's like
good one though, in fairness.
It's like the Late Late Toy Show thing when I was on the Late Late Toy Show, and I said, how much will you pay me?
Were you on the Late Late Toy Show?
Oh my God,
I never knew that. That's class. Oh my God.
Yeah, and he was like, I was reviewing books because I'm a nerd, and then he was like, will you review your first book first there? And I was like, trying to be funny, and I was like, how much will you pay me?
Oh my God, I had to look this up on YouTube. Is it on YouTube? Please say.
I contacted RTE and they were like, yeah, you can have the clip for €600. So there's only a video of me watching it on YouTube. There isn't actually a clip, but you can kind of make it out.
Oh my God.
So you
I
can
was
watch
actually
that.
on the Den when I was a kid. I went.
No way.
Yeah. I won a Bop It Extreme 2 and a Den pack. I was very.
A Bop It.
A Bop It Extreme.
I still love them.
Yeah. but Bop It Extreme 2, Claire,
was even better. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
You know. But
you can bop it and whack it and twist it.
I was 11 or 12 at the time, and actually, no, I remember because we.
Oh, by the way, sorry. The Den is a children's TV show.
And Saki and Dustin
and
used to
puppets. Yeah.
But they.
But it was the children's TV show. Like,
but I was in the morning show
right now.
I was in the morning show, so nobody really watched that as much, I think. But
you could argue that, but I still loved the Den.
It was that red-haired lady, and I remember absolutely love her because I thought she was class. She was always like really happy.
Jerry May.
No,
was it Jerry May?
Not Jerry May.
Oh, I loved Jerry May.
I was going to say something there, but I think it might upset you and say that she was a little bit before my time.
Oh my god.
We had a red-haired lady with curly hair, and she was like class. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you probably had Jerry May's replacement. That I was probably like, I don't like her now. Fair. Not watching it anymore.
But I had to go in and we played a game called it was no teeth, yes or no. So you couldn't show your teeth and you couldn't say yes or no. So she would ask me questions and I'd be like, certainly, or whatever. You know, I looked like a fool, but it was grand. I won Den pack, like, so
nice.
It was class.
I think those things as well were real. Well, like obviously, I assume children from Dublin were on those shows as well, but they were like, you became a celebrity down the country when you were on TV.
But I won a cert at the end of the week because I had to travel. Mum and I got the bus up to Dublin and we got a taxi out to Donnybrook. Like, this was unbelievable. And because my sister wouldn't have been in college, Anne wouldn't have been in college at that stage. So none of us had been in Dublin at that point. So we like, it was a big thing. We went up, and then when I came back that Friday, we had these end of the week certs that we used to get every Friday. And I remember my teacher, Mr. Hassett, gave me a cert. He was like, she's always making, funny jokes in class, and now she did it on TV. Here's a cert, Mary Claire, well done. So I literally got a cert. Like, you're supposed to get them for like, academics or, doing good in the yard and like.
Oh, I get, but you get one every week.
There'll be different ones every week that you get. Like the whole would be the school assembly.
They pick one thing you did good in the week.
Right, not every person, just one person out of the class would get one.
Sorry, that makes much more sense.
Sorry.
Thank you.
But I won.
I was like, geez, if you got a cert every week, like, it kind of ruins the point of certs.
No, but just one person every week got it, and I got a cert that week because I was on the Den.
Because you're on telly.
Because class, Mary Claire, well done.
The talk of the town, I'd say.
Not really, because nobody saw it because it was in the morning. So everyone was off doing the fireman or going to work, So anyway, it's fine. I still have the videotape at home that Mum almost recorded over.
You should put it on the internet, like watch yourself watching it at least. If you're not allowed to put it up on the internet.
It's somewhere at home. I think because I remember my brother nearly filmed WrestleMania or something over it once, and Mum really had a conniption. That was fine. We salvaged the tape and it was grand, but it's there. It's somewhere at home.
God, tapes. There was a few tape incidences in my house
of things being recorded over.
No, of tapes being in my Ariel the Mermaid tape box that weren't Ariel the Mermaid, and they didn't belong to me. They belonged to my older brother. And I was like scarred for life after I put that tape on. If you get what I'm saying.
You watched Ariel the Mermaid. Like, it was 4 years between me and my next sibling, and like I never really watched. I watched my first Disney movie when I was 15. I just didn't really watch them. But my sister was obsessed with the Titanic. Like, she's watched
Titanic.
The Titanic. She just was obsessed with it. Now she's 6 years older than me. So whenever it came out, I was really young. And I watched the Titanic when I was really young, and I remember just thinking, Jesus, this is awful altogether. Like, this is terrible. Like,
sorry, you're falling off the Buddabag because I forgot to tell you that the trick to these is keeping at least one of your feet on the ground, because otherwise you end up falling off.
Oh no! Let me just. It's okay, I'm here.
That's how we figured out with Blawheen, because me and Blawheen ended up nearly on the floor, and we were like, how do we stop this? And someone then said to me, you have to keep one of your feet on the floor.
Right, okay.
So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Remind everyone where they can find you on the internet.
Kicking everything here, sorry. Mary Claire Fitzpatrick, MC Loves to Laugh on YouTube and MC Loves to Laugh on Facebook. MCLUVS2 Laugh, because I made my channel in 2008 and I thought I was really cool.
Yeah, people stunning. And yeah, we're on YouTube and on SoundCloud. Please subscribe and check out the Patreon. Thanks again to Buddabag for giving us the Buddabags for this.
I figured it out. 1 foot.
1 foot on the ground, that's the trick. Also, if you are from the country, feel free to share your stories down in the comments below, and if you haven't already watched Blawheen de Burke's episode where she talks about living in Dublin, go watch that so you get a more rounded view of how different Dublin is from the country.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Okay, bye.